My name is Amanda Payne and I am one of the founders of a charity called FND Action. FND stands for Functional Neurological Disorder, a common and disabling condition that affects the nervous system, causing a wide range of symptoms. There appears to be no underlying disease as such, but rather a problem with the way the brain sends and receives signals, a software problem if you like. We don't have exact statistics for how many people are affected in the UK, but we do know that in Scotland, where I live, around 5,000 people are diagnosed every year. 1 in 7 of the people that neurologists see in their clinics every day following an initial seizure will be diagnosed with non-epileptic attack disorder, or NEAD, which comes under the FND umbrella. My own story started in 2009 when I had a stroke. Some months later I started to experience seizures which would leave me paralysed down one side, or sometimes all over, for some time afterwards. The doctors weren't sure exactly what was causing the seizures, but started me on anti-epileptic medications. I had a whole host of tests, MRI scans, EEGs, you name it, but there was no obvious cause for the seizures. Various different medications were tried, some that left me like a complete zombie. Eventually I was on 3 different anti-epileptic medications, but still having seizures. It had a massive impact on my life. I couldn't work, was barely able to function at all. In 2012 I moved to Glasgow. My GP arranged me to be seen by the neurology team at the hospital now known as the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital. In 2013 I was admitted for several days for video telemetry testing, and that's when it was realised that my seizures were non-epileptic, although there was still a bit of discussion between a couple of the neurologists as to whether or not I might have epilepsy as well. I was told to gradually start weaning myself off the anti-epileptic medication and was given a link to the Neurosymptoms website and then discharged with no proper explanation of what NEAD is or what I was supposed to do next, something that is sadly very common for people diagnosed with NEAD and or FND. I started doing some research and found that there really isn't an awful lot of information out there, or there wasn't at the time. I decided to start a Facebook group, thinking that only a few people would join. After all, I'd never heard of NEAD until I had a diagnosis, so I assumed it was really rare. And that's when I discovered that actually there were lots of people who were going through exactly the same thing I was. I think that the single most helpful thing for me was that group. Being able to chat to other people really made a difference. I learned that there were things that you could try, such as grounding techniques. I learned about cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT, and I started to apply some of those techniques to myself. I made some changes to my lifestyle to manage my stress level, and slowly but surely things started to get better. Now I'm very much better. I haven't had a seizure in over 2 years, although I'm aware that the NEAD is still there, lurking under the surface, so to speak. If I get too tired or too stressed, I will start to get warning signs and symptoms, such as twitching or pins and needles around my eyes and down around my mouth. I've been able to go back to work, but for me, that's merely about paying the bills. My true passion and work is doing everything I can, along with my colleagues, not just in FND Action, but across the FND community in the UK, to raise awareness of FND, to provide support and information to people diagnosed, and to build relationships with health professionals and with other charities. Together, our Voices for FND will make a difference for the thousands of people across the UK who are struggling to cope with the diagnosis, for the children who've been excluded from school because of their seizures, for the people who've lost their jobs, for those whose friends and family don't believe them or think that it's all in their head, and for those who feel isolated and alone. We want FND to be as well known as other neurological conditions such as MS or Parkinson's, and for everyone in the UK, wherever they live, to have access to specialist doctors and the right treatment to ensure that they are able to live the best life that they can. Thank you for watching.